Good morning, I'm Ashley Lambert of the Chaos Canine, and welcome to the very first episode of our series, Deconstruct the Tools. So that you know a little bit more about me, I'm an academically trained professional dog trainer who has spent a couple of decades in the trenches. I've worked around the country with certified pros, stunt dog performers, veterinarians, and the occasional dog that thinks they're all three. Now, the goal of this series is to rip the curtain off the wizard of dog tools. And by this, I mean we explain the overblown, often misleading narratives surrounding them. Myself and my community are highly dedicated to giving dog guardians thoughtful, well-informed, but reality-rooted approaches to the tools of the industry and how they function. And of course, how to use them without losing your sanity or your shoulder socket. Wait, what? Yes, some intentions behind tool promotion might be well-meaning. But much too often, the industry selects cherry-picked sound bites wrapped up in marketing fluff, and they forget the most important part, which is teaching you how to use the tool in real life. And to that, I say nay, friend. Nay. Hey, rein it in. Horses aren't a part of this series. Because if you're going to hand somebody a tool, then you should probably hand them the manual too. And a little common sense while you're at it. Today's tool of the episode, you've got 3 guesses and they all end in rope burn. Cue dramatic pause. It's the retractable leash. Buckle up, guys. We're reeling this one in. As we make headway through our demystifying mission, give our Chaos Education Station a boost by supercharging that like button with a click. Running over to subscribe to us would also be a real treat. And if you trigger that notification bell, you'll get a well-timed Pavlovian push so that you get the jump on every new episode. Realistically, I want to know how many of us, whether dog guardian or modern pet professional, actually remember why the retractable leash was invented and who it was invented by. I bet we probably can't do it as well as we can recite the endless stream of stigmas and shame that downgrade us as dog guardians. All right, let's not hold on to that. Where did this thing come from? Guess what? It was a woman. And she invented it for reasons surrounding, but not limited to, accessibility in walking your dog due to the restrictiveness of women's fashion. Shocking. In 1908. How 20th century. Her name was Mary Delaney, and she was a New York woman. And she had found that the dresses were much too long and the heels much too high for you to traditionally walk with your dog and be able to control it as a woman in metropolis that is New York. Metropolis. Unfortunately, at the time, the culture didn't agree with poor Mary. Most people thought of city dogs at the time as mangy street mongrels. So, wait a second. What set the tone for the modern-day retractable leash? To put it in short, the hippies got trippy. With the arrival of the 1970s, the culture surrounding dogs shifted from being one of not being part of the family to being in-home companions. It was less roaming and more couch crashing. With stricter regulations that existed on dogs being able to free roam outside and more time with them spending time indoors, the reintroduction of the retractable leash began in Germany with the company Flexi. It since grew and expanded from there in many different styles and fashion, and had the initial motivation of being the bridge between freedom and control for a pet parent and their canine companion. And that fairy tale ended quickly due to a multitude of cacophonous factors. Our fast-paced work weeks and the constant demand from our electronic devices has created a landscape of dog guardians who are well-meaning, but have definitely created their own suburban rodeo complete with a champion hog tie. The simple task of wanting to get the dog walk has led to several scraps with the neighbor's chihuahua, tangles around the ankles that have definitely caused some serious rope burn, wraps around trees and fire hydrants, and the occasional visit to the ER. Though most of this madness and mayhem could have been rectified with a little congregation in the classroom, professionals in the industry decided that they were way too overwhelmed for that. Instead, accidental events became fear-mongering propaganda. Innocently inattentive handlers were labeled lazy or negligent dog guardians. And we all became disturbers of the peace if we even chose to utter the words retractable leash. However, shaming the tool doesn't exactly resolve the issues that have been created. And there are a lot of positives to the invention of the retractable leash, such as much more improved accessibility for disabled dog guardians, practical uses in modern dog training, and the obvious additional roaming space for the dog. And you know what? To be fair to the propagandists, some of them did have a point. It is really frustrating to be inconvenienced by something that could have been easily avoided. And for those of us who just get too comfortable that we're not paying attention, I think it is really safe to say, even as humans, that it is both unwise and ineffective to operate a tool without your full attention. And you can definitely run into less than favorable unintended consequences. So, what are some of the behaviors I would advise that you keep in mind when operating a retractable leash? Know how it works. Different models have different lengths, different strengths, and different triggers for operating the stopping, locking, or releasing the mechanism. Operate at shorter lengths near roads and on sidewalks. Practice responsible cues away from stimuli with your dog so that you can make the walk more seamless with the retractable leash. And use good etiquette whenever you're passing by wildlife, dogs, or other people. I appreciate you dropping by to hear me organize some chaos. Remember to subscribe so that you can keep up with this series. Happy training.